can't be that hot in there because these are burnt out, wouldn't they?
Welcome to Rising Heat. This is the show where we sort of put athletes in an uncomfortable position and see how they respond to it.
Looks like you're struggling, Law. You good?
We all sit in the sauna and I ask them questions, and at the end of the whole show, we basically find out who can keep their cool, if they can last the whole time, that is. I've got my friend in this episode, Ellis Genge.
King of Bristol.
So I have high hopes for Genji. I think he can definitely keep his cool. And we have someone else with us today. We have a rugby legend who works hard and sometimes parties harder, Lawrence Dallaglio.
Do you sauna a lot, Lo?
Well, I was at a wedding yesterday, so it might be a bit coming out. To be honest, I tucked a bit away last night.
Fierce players, are they really that tough?
It wasn't hard to notice. Told me there's a lot to see. Optimist now, I'm hopeless. Tried to take a part of me, so take a shot, losing focus. Scared but couldn't start all me. Optimist now, I'm hopeless. Tried to take a part of me, yeah. Tried to take a part of me.
Lovely.
Dry though, very dry.
Yeah, it's dry.
You lot sauna a lot yourselves?
I used to, once upon a time, hot and cold after the game.
I smash it, to be fair, so I've got no excuse to that.
When I was told that both of you were willing to come in this, I was like, how can I sort of bring them together? Like, what's the link? And the way you both play the game was like quite a big thing, just like how aggressive and like how you both carry and like how dominant both you are. How did you sort of come to this style of play and this sort of aggressive, dominant sort of way, even though like obviously upbringings are different? Like,
Do you know what? My mum got me your book for my birthday when I was younger. I actually read about 100 pages of it. Yeah, I did. And the only other book I read was...
Did you colour it in?
No. So I actually did... You were the first person I ever read about in terms of a biography. So I know a little bit about you to a certain degree. But I don't know, I think it's probably a reflection of, for me, resentment. Probably all the negative things that the picture, as I've spoken to you about 100 times, Benz, of what I foresee rugby to be from the outside, what it's viewed as, what 90% of the game's probably viewed as.
White middle class, elite sport.
Exactly, and it was everything that I was brought up, rightly or wrongly, to sort of fight against and rebel against for an array of reasons. But you see the worst of it growing up, don't you? And it's put under a magnifying glass, so to speak, when you go to trials and stuff like that. So I had to sort of change my why, I guess, of what sort of fueled me. Families helped with that, obviously having kids and stuff, and your reason of why you play the game, and obviously a constant juggling act of what motivates you. So yeah, it's changed for me over the years.
what about you, Law?
Well, I mean, listen, a lot of people probably don't know this, but I didn't play rugby to be a professional rugby player. We all, I mean, it wasn't even an option. You know, we were just, I joined WAS when I was 17, when I lost my sister, very tragically, in a riverboat accident not far from here, where we are now. And one day she was around the table, the next day she's gone. And I had a really bad couple of years. And then I just needed something. I needed a family, a community. I needed someone just to put their arms around me, really. And I remember playing rugby at school. And so I joined a rugby club, and I opened a newspaper, and just this name WAS came out, and they happened to be top of the table, and I turned up there. And they were in London at the time, and that's all I got. No one asked me any questions about what happened before, and then my mum and dad started to come and watch me play it, and it started to put a smile back on their face. So really, my why, like Ellis was saying, is I just wanted to honour the memory of my sister, really, and just, you know, get my parents back together again. So it had nothing to do with money. I played 6 years as an amateur rugby player, and even though I went to a very good school in the end. I mean, I grew up in the East End of London until I was about 6. My mum and dad had a cigarette shop, and we didn't have any money until my parents moved. My dad got a slightly better job, and my sister ended up getting a scholarship. So I was very driven to play rugby. It's much more of a spiritual journey for me. It went professional and things went from there, really. But every time I took the field, it was always about family. It was about the brotherhood, really, and not about the money. Because I mean, whilst we didn't do badly out of the game, wouldn't have got your face smashed in every week for what we were. And I gave up a job as a property surveyor, to become a rugby player. And for the first couple of weeks, I thought, I must be off my head.
I don't know if people know this about Ellis, but I'm about to let you in on something. Ellis is maybe the most caring person I know. He's actually like lovely. Like he genuinely cares about people. And when you both are just there talking, I'm like, it feels like there's pain and care like come together, and then you get this like fireball of dominance. It's actually just proper nice. I like that. But off the field, Ellis, you are going to do a property management course, potentially have a Pilates studio. You've got paving fields, play a lot of snooker and golf, and I think there's a coffee shop and a digger's license to come, and 3 children. How do you get the time to play rugby, brother?
Meg's amazing, man. You've met her. You know what she's like. She's so accommodating, so caring, and she's just so good with the kids. She says it herself, like her one thing that she wants to do in life is be a mum. And I say to her, look, if you want to do that, I've got to be working as hard as I can. So I think she understands the balance.
The sport of rugby is such a, as you guys know, it's such a selfish career. You know, talk about your wife, you talk about your family. Everything revolves around you. And everyone has to change their life to make you, to allow you to do what you do. I used to say to the guys, and when I played with, if we're not winning 75, 80% of the time, what are we doing? You have to be winning. And I know that sounds a little bit sort of brutal, but there's so much sacrifice. Can we go out tonight, Dad? No, I've got to play tomorrow. Can we go out tonight, Dad? Well, no, I've got to recover because I've got to go into camp tomorrow. There's so many things that people have to give up that it has to be worth it. The sacrifice has to be worth it.
One thing, although I hadn't necessarily got a trust fund that popped at 18, what I did have was a lot of friends who had to find their way in life, and some of them became tradesmen. Some of them did very different things to what I do now. But what it did do was open up a load of doors for me. When I did start earning a bit of dough, where can I put it? And I'm not educated, you know what I mean? I think it's one of the things that probably slows down people from a working class background further in life. You don't get educated about ISAs and pensions and how to be tax efficient and stuff like that. So as soon as I started earning a bit of bread, I was like, look, let me put a bit of money into this. Let me help you out with my friend's roofing company and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? And it was actually Jamie George, he used the word acquisition. I didn't know what it meant at the time. I know what acquire meant, but I didn't know what acquisition was in business. And then I started listening to a few things, reading up on it, and apparently acquisition was taking over the growth that you've seen from actually starting companies. So I thought, right, no stress, put my eggs into that, and I started acquiring a few businesses. Just took off like a rocket, really. And the coffee shop and stuff, everything's just supposed to be passive. I think, as you said, Ben, I care quite a lot about my friends and family, and I probably get too involved at times. They're supposed to be passive businesses, but yeah, Meg's brilliant in short, to answer your question. She allows me to do all that.
Hello. How are you, boss?
Oh, you right, my bro?
Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Has anyone tapped yet, Ben?
No one's ever tapped. It's easy, like when you're like 30 minutes just talking, like it shouldn't be too tough. Interestingly enough, I was sitting there like, the way Lawrence sort of covers the game now, do you think he could play today? And I've
always wondered that, you know, do you...
Listen, when I grew up watching the guys that I sort of looked up to, Dean Richards, Peter Winterbottom, these guys, the game was obviously a very different game. The average weight of the forwards was between 15 and 16 stone. When I played, the average weight of the forwards was between 17 and 18 stone. Obviously the props, some guys are a bit heavier. Now, the game, guys are much, probably that little bit bigger again. I think you just adapt if you want to adapt to the game. I mean, ball in play time is a lot quicker now, a lot more collisions on the field. But I look at someone like Jason Leonard. When I came into the England squad, he was already had 50 caps. He made his debut in 1990. I arrived 5 years later, but yet 7 years after that, he's still in the England squad. Yeah. And so when he first started, I mean, if he touched the ball, something had gone horribly wrong. Yeah. But yet he adapted his game, and I'd like to think we could all adapt our game. I'd love to have a go at it.
It's a quiet yes.
I'd love to have a go at it. There's no quiet yes. Listen, you guys are proper athletes now. We got to the top of the world because we made a pact and a decision to become the best and fittest side in the world, and we were, and that's all we needed to be, the best side in the world, the fittest side in the world then. Where that would sit now in the modern day is probably nowhere near the top, so we'd have to
still have that philosophy.
We'd have to double it again.
Law, you speak well. You speak really well. And this brings me on to my next point. You gave a speech once. about they don't respect us. They don't respect what we do. They don't respect how fit we are. They don't respect how strong we are. And Ellis sort of gave a speech where it said, it's an old school dust up. And,
A proper tear up.
yeah, proper tear
It's like a scene out of Lock, Stock.
And I actually went and watched both of the speeches in preparation. Do you lot practice your speeches? 'Cause I couldn't give these speeches that you lot give. Or does these things go through your head like on a regular basis and you're just saying what's come to your head at that moment?
When I was 14, I was captain of a team called Old Reds in Brislington and Bristol. Definitely not the most affluent of clubs. Proper nutters. And that's all we were. We used to get hammered 40-0 by the best teams, but we'd let them know. And I'd have a little think about what I was going to say when I was younger, because I wasn't a very good speaker. I don't necessarily think I'm the finished article now, but I wasn't very articulate, very limited vocabulary. And as I've got older, I think that for me, especially, obviously what I sort of, I guess, try to embody as a player, I think it's best to just let it sort of free flow. So yeah, I try not to script stuff. I always felt when I'm sat there in that chair, someone stands up and I feel like they're reading off a script. I think this ain't from the heart. Do you know what I mean? I need to be invested. That's what I feel. So I think the best thing for me, whenever I stand up and speak, I actually often start by saying, boys, I don't know what I'm about to say, but this is the gist of it. Do you know what I mean?
There's so much truth in that. It has to be yourself, authentic. You know, when they say, oh, this guy's a captain, but he doesn't really say a lot, that's fine, because someone in the room's going to be saying something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're a captain that doesn't want to say too much, you obviously need to push that responsibility in the direction of the people that you know are good. And when you're dealing with some of the best players in the world and you've got them in a changing room, you know, when you eventually get to the top, you're not going to be. I mean, what do you say 5-10 minutes before you run out? You're not going to make them better rugby players. That work has already been done. What I used to do, a bit like a sort of, you know, a pastor speaking at church. You know, you pick a theme for the sermon, and for big men like us, it is about. It's always been for me connecting the head and the heart. You know, finding something that connects all the guys together in the changing room, so that it doesn't really matter who's in the changing room next door. They got no chance. You know, because all you're trying to do is you're trying to pick a group and elevate the performance collectively, so that you all deliver 8, 9, 10 out of 10 at the same time. And I've got in there and I've been driving to a club game, big club game, and I've thought about what I'm going to say, and then I've got in there and I realised I don't need to say anything because the guys are ready. Do you know what I mean? I need to say very little. And then there's other times when I've got into the changing room and I'm thinking I shouldn't be able to say very much, and yet you can see everyone's heads are at different places. So it's feeling the room sometimes and understanding people emotionally. And for me, I used to open myself up and display and share my own vulnerability with my teammates. And then what that does is that makes them do the same to you. Yeah, and as I say, it's got nothing to do with rugby, but it becomes very, very powerful.
Did you ever get too amped? Like, did you ever like go over the top like with your? Because you know that's what I worry about. I do worry about if I go into that sort of like.
Especially for you guys now, where you have to. I mean, you know, yes is the answer to that. I mean, I played in a Champions Cup semi-final where we were playing away against Munster at Lansdowne Road at the Viva, and there's 55,000 red shirts, and I came back in. And you know what? Trevor Leota's, bless him, the hooker, his wife had left him that week and taken the kids back to New Zealand. So I was thinking, it was a bit naughty of me, really, but I said, you know, I started the speech by saying, Trev, we're your family now. And by the end of it, Trev's in tears, the whole dressing room's in tears. We kicked off the game, we gave away the first 12 penalties of the match. And Alex King, my fly half, is screaming at me, going, what the hell go? I said, all right, I might have overcooked that one a little bit. But ultimately, you know, the lead changed hands 12 times and Trevor Leota scores the winning try in the last minute of the game. So, you know, it worked. I'm 52, you know what I mean?
League rugby's got big risks, man.
It can't be that hot in there, because these are burnt out, wouldn't they?
Is there any advice you would give to Genge? Because Genge ain't been on the tour, whether he should have or not. We can beef other people about it another day. But he hasn't been on the tour yet. And is there any advice you would sort of give to him? Because you said in one interview, 97 was the greatest rugby experience of my life.
It was. And listen, there's one thing getting picked for the Lions. The biggest challenge is winning for the Lions. And you know what you've got. We haven't won a Test series for 12 years. And for me, have fun. You make amazing connections and friends for life outside of the current friendship group, but come back a winner. because that's what everyone wants, really.
Yeah, of course.
And that's something that you'll remember. We met up a couple of years ago, and it was a 30-year reunion for the 1997 Lions. Obviously, you could tell that a few guys had let themselves go a little bit. But it was the most incredible experience because Ian McGeechan said back then, we'll meet in 30 years' time and it'll just be a look. And it was just a look. Everyone was exactly the same, but we had that shared experience. And you will have that shared experience, as will you, but it's a much better one when you win.
Yeah, of course.
Because you remember it for the right reasons.
How do you think it's going to go?
I just want the Lions to win. Yeah. And, people say 3-0. No, just win the first test and then regroup. Win the second test and then we're not worried about what happens afterwards. So just come back a winning line because it's been 12 years since that's happened. And I think, to do this badge and this sort of establishment's justice, we need to win the odd one.
Yeah. How proud do you feel to be a Lion? This actually wasn't one of my questions, but the way Lawrence talks about it, I'm just like, how proud do you feel to be a Lion? Like, when you walk in Bristol, when you walk in North West, when you walk at home, do you feel different? Shoulders out a little bit more?
Nah, not really, Ben. Do you know what I'm like? I'm one of them. I'm quite cynical. I don't actually consider myself a Lion yet, obviously, until you play in a test or get on the plane to get over there. I understand the accolades, brilliant at being selected, and maybe that's a reflection of how you've been brought up, but I don't necessarily shoulder that badge yet for a number of reasons.
Still feel like you've got to earn it?
We talk about respect as being one of the key values of the game, and this man has respect for... We have respect for every opponent we play against, whether they're your mates, whether they're guys you've never met before, whether they're from Australia, whatever. But you've earned the respect of everyone by getting picked. Now your responsibility is earn the respect of the group that you're playing with.
Exactly that.
Because they know you're a good player, they respect you a little bit because of what you've done in your career so far. But there's more to come from you, and there's more to come from all of us. So let's help each other to get there and look back and respect each other with a whole different level. I mean, I became friends with a whole host of people that if you'd have told me before the tour, no, never, wouldn't have even spoke to them.
Well, yeah, we had a few drinks the other week and I had about 5 or 6 of them after a few pints. Said, God, I didn't think you were going to be like this. Which I knew was going to come.
You got a bit yampy, didn't you?
Yeah. One last thing, because it looks like you're struggling, Law. Are you good?
Well, no, I'm good, mate. I mean, you got to remember...
That knee was tapping,
I'm
like,
52.
it just kept tapping.
Well, that's the ADHD, obviously. Childhood trauma, lateral thinker, laser focus. You know the drill. Yeah.
You said in an interview, we got to work hard and we got to play hard. Yeah.
Well,
is that like every single...
No, of course not. I mean, listen, when you talk about playing the modern game, I like to celebrate the wins, but I used to say to the guys, if we're not winning 75% of the time, we should be doing something else. Yeah. And if we win, we're going to go out and have a few beers and we're going to enjoy ourselves. If we lose, we're not going out. We're going to have a couple of beers upstairs and we're going to discuss why we lost and who was responsible. Now, I know that I have this kind of, party boy image of being, going out on the smash all the time, but we won a lot of games and we won a lot of trophies, and so therefore there was a lot of reason to go out. Clearly, I would probably rein it back in and maybe go out once every 4 or 5 weeks now, for a proper one, for an out, and then just go out for a couple after the game.
I'm cooked, man. Thank you so much, man. I'll let them get out first.
That's you.
Over easy I am.
We're good to go. Congratulations, Law. Winner of Rising Heat. Kind of surprised me here, old man. Didn't know you had it in you. Let me not lie. No, some of them evenings you probably enjoyed. This is probably a walk in the park. As expected, tough as nails, man.
Thought it wasn't hard to notice. Told me there's a lot to see. Optimist now, I'm hopeless. Tried to take a part of me, so.
Thank you for watching Rising Heat. I hope you loved it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll be back. Hope you didn't see too much skin that you didn't like. I tried to cover myself a little bit. Whether it worked or not, I don't know. But see you soon and stay in touch.
First time I turned up for training, my first day as a professional rugby player. Nigel Melville, my coach, comes up to me and said, "Can I have a word with you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're captain." I went, "Really?" He said, "Well, you're the first one here."